We are back with part 2 of the secret stash of the baseball prints on today's episode of Baseball King Collectibles. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the show. It's Stars of Baseball, G through M. What does that all mean? Well, baseball prints back in the day, when he was a young kid, back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, he started his own baseball card collection, and these were his stars he pulled out, hoping they would be Hall of Famers one day or worth something one day or whatever. But it was the junk wax era and, whatever. But still beautiful cards. I mean, gorgeous cards, really. Just because they don't have value doesn't mean they're not a nice card. Doesn't mean they shouldn't be in your collection. Guys, collect what you like. Don't collect because it's worth something, all right? Remember that. All right, let's go back in and see where we left off. We took out all what we showed already. So if you haven't seen part 1, I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. You can just click on that. You don't have to watch part 1 before part 2. It doesn't really matter. So this was the rest of the box, and we'll go through and see what we got. All right, we're starting off with, it looks like a pile of Mike Mussina's. Okay. Mussina did make the Hall of Fame. So when he put this together back in, in the late 90s, Mussina was off to a good career, but no Hall of Fame, But he was right. The baseball prince was right on with Mussina. All right. Beautiful cards, Mussina. Like I said, what's the value? Nothing. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, Mike Mussina has these cards in his collection. I bet he's proud of every one of them, his family and everybody. They're just gorgeous. I mean, like I say, you don't have to be a fan of a player to like the cards. And, like I said, just pretty much every card of his, not in any order of which years. They might have been at one time. I think I might have mixed them up on them. But that's okay. All Mussina's. Nice. Oh, here's a nice one. Look at the corner on the bottom. The bottom. Where is it? Right there. You see it. A Bowman. But, hey, like I said, it's not much value anyway. Like I said, we're not about value. I'm not a value. I am a value guy, of course. I love things that are worth a lot of money. But if it's not, so be it. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. There's so many more Mussinas. Look at all these Mussinas. These were the best to get autographs on. They were nice and plain and simple. Guys, if you don't know, I'm an autograph collector. I have over 10,000 in-person autographs. You heard me right. In person. Of celebrities as well as sports and celebrities. That's the end of Mussina. Looks like we're going down to Eddie Murray now. So we'll take Mussina off to the side. And so if you like autographs and you like watch some of my older videos, like, subscribe, do all that while you're here. You have to do all that while you're here. That's why we're here. For you. Eddie Murray. Here we go. Eddie Murray, very underrated. Very underrated. Switch hitter. Power. I mean, the closest thing to Mickey Mantle, I would say, right? And his stats are comparable, but he played in Baltimore. If Eddie Murray plays a strawberry, if Eddie Murray played in New York, there'd be statues and monuments and all that. It just would be. But, Baltimore's not New York, and that's the problem, and that's why a lot of guys don't like the pressure of New York, but doesn't matter. Here was Mike Piazza up next. A Gold Cup card, beautiful one, right? I like the Gold Cup cards, very nice. Triple play, even though triple play, very, people don't like it. It's for kids, it was for kids. But what's wrong with the cards? The cards are really nice. The backs of the triple play were really nice. You got an extra picture on the back. Nothing wrong, man. Guys, inexpensive cards where you could build a collection of great players. So it was junk. They called it junk wax. I don't know. I call it just baseball cards. These are just baseball cards of that era. Oh, we got a Denny's card. Look at that. All right, I remember getting these Denny's. We went down to Florida, visited my parents. We were living in Florida, and there was a Denny's not too far. We went there every day. We got a couple cards every day. That was fun. The Denny's cards. Like I said, it was different cards. There was not much selection back in the late 90s to have cards. But look, he come up with a nice selection. A lot of sets. Beautiful Piazzas. Checklist. Even the checklist was nice. Back in the day, what we had was like just a checklist. Couple of years back in the 60s, they put the floating heads in the corner. The Mantle has one, and a few others, the Stremski, and I think it was 68 they did it, 67 maybe. And Piazza, another one. We still got more Piazza. I think we end Piazza. We're going on to Big Mac, it looks like. We have a huge pile of McGWIRE, because look, McGWIRE was McGWIRE back in these cards were made. I don't know when this early 90s or late 90s. These cards all McGWIRE was all the rage. Like Big Mac and Donnie. Look how Big Mac is much bigger than Mattingly. But Mattingly just did it straight. The whole 91 flares. Every year. I like this card. This is a beautiful card. you know. McGWIRE, it is Provision McGWIREs. These are tough to pull, actually, in the Flair Provision 91s. I don't think they were 1-to-a pack, were they? I have no idea. But anyway, you see all McGWIREs. Look at this. I mean, that's a beautiful card, too, with the Cardinals. You know, just the way it was done. You know, what was I say? It's 500 Homer card. Beautiful card for a 500 Homer card. Nice. Like I said, this doesn't have to be worth anything. It's just a beautiful card. This will display well. I got to put these into binders, you know. Make up a nice binder of this. And this will all display really well. Another Provision. And another big stack of Big Mac, I think, here. Wow. Wow. We got Cardinals, A's. It's all represented. The Bash Brothers. All right. That's a beautiful card. Look when they were both nice and slim. We got in the background Fenway. Yep, nice, beautiful Fenway Park. All right. Cover glories. Just, you know, a lot of doubles and triples of each one. But so what? So what? Can't have enough, right? I mean, if you add them all up, it's got some value, right? So if you want some value, guys, you have to have quantity. All right? Certain cards you need quantity of. And McGWIRE is one of those guys you need quantity unless you got his rookie card. And still, that's not all that valuable as it used to be. At one point, McGWIRE's 85 tops. Oh, man, that thing was going for well over $1,000 at one point. And it dropped real. Once that steroids came, oh, it dropped quick. More Provisions. You know, all that steroids talk, it just killed him. There's a nice rookie card of McGWIRE. Or is it a rookie? 88 Donruss. I don't even know, but it's the older one. You see them all, see them all. Who's he high-fiving there? Herrera. Okay. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's all McGWIREs. Look at this. I mean, this big stack's worth. So, we got Jeter coming up, it looks like. All right. So we got end of McGWIRE, and we're going to go over to Jeter now and give a couple of looks of Derek. Again, this was early in his career. There was no older cards. These are early Jeter cards. So, it's a nice one. What's it called? Like for the kids, Hardball Galaxy. Yeah, they had all different things back then. They just put inserts, but not like today, of course. You know. So they spiced it up with cards like this. And, you know, all different things like that. What do we got here? League leaders or something like that? Yeah. Oh, best shortstops, I guess. All right. Jeter. Can't go wrong with any Jeter cards. I mean, you know, even if these are like 50 cents a piece. Again, add them up. We got quantity. This card I love, the design, the old Flair. What was it, 1960 design, maybe 61? It was the greats of the game, Ruth and Gehrig and all those guys. And they're using that design. I love that design. It's a nice Griffey. Yeah, we're up to Griffey now, I guess, right? Yeah, we are up to Griffey. All right, that was enough of Jeter. So, and the Jeter part, not too much, because like I said, he probably put this part all together. Jeter was only in the league a couple of years. There wasn't many cards. But Griffey, there's plenty of cards. That's a beauty. I love those cards. Here's a nice one. Look at this one. Bonds and Griffey. Wow. You know, see them two of them back together off that off, and then they made a card of them back in the early days. They knew those guys were going to be greats, and they were. Here's the Griffey card, the old mom and pop, my son and pop. Almost a mom and pop. Wow. All right, what's this 101 collection? It's just a collecting card, nothing with nothing, but you know, like you see, it's just all Griffeys. Griffey. I'm skipping over a couple. Griffey could not slide and smoothly like they all should. Black and white ones, you name it, is Griffey. And like I said, you don't go wrong with any Griffey card. What do we got here? All-Stars, Andy Van Slyke with Griffey. And, what does that say? Measures of greatness. Okay, like I said, all the inserts, all different kind of inserts back in the day. Topps was trying to get, you know, Flair. They were competing with each other. They didn't know what to do. There's another stack. What's this? Looks like all Griffey? Might be. It might be. It's a nice league leader. It's a beauty. I like that card. Even though, like I said, what's it worth? Nothing? Who cares? Who cares? Give me 20 of them nothing cards, right? It's like the Hostess design. I think Hostess made this design back in the day, too. Very similar. Probably in the same year. All right. Griffey's. Every Griffey you could imagine from the 90s is in here. Hey, we got a rookie. We got a Griffey rookie in here. Nice. All right, so like I said, it's all represented. I don't think he has no upper decks in here. That would have been separately somewhere. He wouldn't have put that in here. So, you know, but like I said, what's not to like? Is that Griffey Bonds again. That beautiful smile. That's why he was the kid, junior. So if you like having quantity, which I like, I mean, I'd rather, here's a couple more rookies. The Donruss. And, I rather have quantity over quality anytime. Well, quantity over quality. Quantity over one card. I mean, would I rather have $100 Griffey card? Or would I rather have all those Griffey cards? You be the judge. I mean, what's your opinion? I like quantity. Of course, I want to have the good cards too. I want it all, really. But if I couldn't afford it and I didn't have big money, nobody has a lot of money these days. It's hard. Collecting's getting ridiculous. The new cards is out of reach for most people. And you like star cards, there's nothing wrong with the 90s cards to get. You can get as many stars as you. Every pack has a couple of Hall of Famers, really. Every pack. There's one or two Hall of Famers, pretty much. So this was how a kid collected back in the 90s. How Baseball Prince collected his cards, and we just took a sneak peek through it. So don't tell nobody. He doesn't know. But you all know now on Baseball King Collectibles. Come back for the next episode. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.